Good morning and welcome to week 6. This week we'll be covering module 6 and we are going to be reading chapter 16 in our textbook. Now, before I go into the instructions, I want to make sure you read chapter 16 prior to submitting your supervisory evaluation and feedback assignment, which is due the 19th of this week. I want to make sure that you read this over because it's going to give you a lot of great insight into why we have to do this evaluation and so forth. So make sure you read chapter 16 before you submit your assignment because it's going to really help you understand that assignment a little more. So after you read chapter 16, you are going to find out more information in regards to purpose for evaluation. What is a purpose for evaluations? The terminology. What terminology should you be using? Guidelines to staff evaluation. What do you want to see inside those evaluations? As well as employee performance review. Because that's what these evaluations are about. It's about the review, it's about commenting, it's about reflection, it's about being able to discuss the positives as well as the negatives, or I should say the strengths and the weaknesses of your staff, right? So again, to be successful within this, you want to read chapter 16. You want to, by Friday the 19th, you're going to submit your evaluation and feedback. Again, make sure you look at that. I want to make sure you're hitting every single area with the intro, the blank form, as well as a completed mock form, right? And then you're going to tell me how you were going to give this feedback. And then you will continue to work on your handbook, your group assignment. I'm trying to give you plenty of time within these next few weeks to complete this assignment. Now, I want to make sure that you have covered your rubric while you're assigned all these different components of the handbook. And that is, it must include a welcome letter, your vision and mission statement. Those are two different statements. We want to make sure you have both. School policies, general information about the program. Remember, you're creating this handbook to either um, fill a staff need or a volunteer need. So this is very important. I would prefer a staff because this is something you're going to be able to use often. But if you want to do it on a volunteer as well, if you have volunteers in your program, obviously you'll be utilizing that as well. So teaching philosophy, you want to make sure you have your teaching philosophy in there and role of either the teacher or the volunteer or so forth. Also, you're going to want to include schedule and routines, as well as personal biography of each teacher. So in other words, each person in your group is going to be a staff member, right? So you're going to give me a short bio on each person in your group. The bio will include maybe the amount of schooling that person has, how long they've been with the company, and their greatest strengths. You want to share just a little paragraph on each individual. I would put their picture and then the bio underneath it. And then organization and presentation. To get full marks, you want to make sure that each person in your group has a speaking part. That speaking part reflects what they did within the handbook. So let's say I talk about the welcome letter, I created the welcome letter, then I'm going to speak about it. Again, when you're going to hand in the handbook, there's going to be a complete handbook. Each person in the group will submit a handbook by noon on the 29th, which is our next Zoom meeting. So by noon, and that's even pushing it the last day, but I want to make sure I have all that. You're also going to create a PowerPoint or Google Docs, some kind of PowerPoint presentation that you'll be presenting that night, which is the 29th, which is our last night of class. You want to make sure that you don't exceed 25 minutes for the entire thing. So when you're assigning groups or when you're assigning the individual criteria, make sure that each person has so much time to summarize, right? To summarize that area. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. If not, have a fabulous week, and I'll look forward to talking with you next week.